Hello everyone and welcome back to What the Quad. It's been a while and we are very excited to be back. Thank you for joining us and thank you as well to our amazing guests. So Gundren FPV from XBlades and NateYT from, is that how do you say NateYT or NateYT?
Oh, a lot of people say it different ways. I say NateYT, but I came accustomed to Natey. So yeah, everything works.
Okay. Yeah, I keep saying YT because it's like a cap. Sure. So NateYT from SuperSonic X. And we are also joined by a special guest host, the incomparable Matt Andrews.
I'll take that. Thank you, Jess. Hi, everybody. Summer break. Done. It's no longer summer. Jess says so.
I'm good with the summer coming back because we keep having like thunderstorms and I don't like when it's like a bit of rain, it's nice, and then when it's a lot of rain and you can't do anything, it's less nice.
Less nice. Yeah.
So this is my weather analysis of the day.
We've been chucking it down here actually in the UK. So yeah, UK-wise, summer. What was that again? Actually, we had a lovely summer, but apparently summer break is done. Pilots need to start grinding. We go racing. Next. Yes, it's time to go. Ben, Bambi, hello, is in the chat as well. Kite says hi. Yay, lots of people coming back together. It's been a while. Like you said, Jess, it's been a while. Oh, there's lots of rain, says Kite, in the South US. Whereabouts, Kite? And Bambi, it says Manchester has horrendous weather. And Chryson, oh, hey, Chryson, a lot of rain in Berlin. Everywhere is wet.
I mean, if you're talking about Manchester in the UK, because apparently there's one in the US as well, that kind of goes with the territory. Like, you're not going to live in the north of England and expect to have nice weather. It's just, you can have good football teams, but not nice weather. That's the deal you made there.
That's it? Is it you can have good football teams or good weather, but it's impossible to have both? That's the law. Cool, I like that.
I think that's about it.
That's it. That work for you, Gundren?
Yeah, that's about it.
Do you have good football or do you have good weather?
Well, actually, I'm not really interested in the football, so I don't know how good our football is. But I think it's not too bad, and the weather it isn't too bad either. So we both have. Both is not great, probably.
You're in. Are you in Bern right now?
Yeah, or also near Bern, but yeah, 15 minutes. And I'm in the city.
Yeah. And Nate, underneath me, as it were. Nate, you're hey, buddy, hey downstairs. Nate, what's it like where you are right now? Where are you right now?
It is. So I'm in the southern district in Israel. It's right near Sderot. And it's really hot. I mean, it's a desert. So what did you expect? It's like 40 degrees midday. Right now it's like a bit cooler, but yeah, we have good weather. That's why our soccer team is shit. So, that is correct.
Well, that proves it then. So now we know. Sorry about that, everyone. Yeah, so there you go. That's proof. What else do we need to prove, Jess? What other laws do you wish to reveal? I don't think we can hear you, Jess. No, Jess, we can't hear you over there in the top window.
Yeah. Sorry, no, I accidentally muted myself. My bad. I feel like a boomer sometimes when I use technology. We are, as Matt said, though, as much as we all enjoyed summer, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, very happy that the summer break is over, purely for the fact that the racing is back. And obviously that is awesome. We're happy to have some really amazing new pilots as well who'll be starting. We had a draft selection over the summer, so some really exciting pilots have been joining our pro teams, and we also look forward to seeing them fly, so that'll be exciting to watch. But right now, obviously, we want to talk about our two guests who are also flying this weekend. Yeah, on Saturday for XBlades and SuperSonic X.
Yeah.
Respectively. I think, Gundren, this is your first race with XBlades, right?
It is like indeed, yeah. Yeah, I did one DCL race before when I was in the wildcard team, the McDonald's wildcard team. Yeah. But yeah, it's the first real race where I'm with XBlades, and it's finally happened. A lot of trials that I participated in and just didn't quite get there. But yeah.
It's because of the XBlades. When did XBlades?
Oh. Sorry, Jess, go on.
I mean, it's because XBlades have the system where before every race they make all of their pirates. We could start calling you that. It sounds cool. But all of the pilots have to race against each other in order to determine who the four will be who race in the actual race. Is that correct?
Exactly, yeah. We always have these internal trials, which I think make a lot of sense. So everyone has to prove themselves that they are ready to race. And yeah, for me, it happened a lot that I got like 5th or 6th and just barely didn't make it. So I was always there. And I think it was also awesome for me, these internal trials, because you always got like a race simulation and you had the pressure there and you were racing against great pilots like the other pilots from XBlades. So I think that really pushed me and improved my flying a lot.
How long have you been with XBlades, Gundren? I remember you racing with, when we used to have wildcard teams in the real life seasons. You were 2019. I would guess you were. Was it at the end of the 2018 season?
It was actually at the end of the 2020 season. It was also a virtual race.
Yep.
But that was end of 2020 season where we met. It was also, excuse me, it was also the Switzerland race, also the Lake Zurich one.
Lake Zurich.
I thought exactly. Back in the real life days. My mistake, Yanis. Sorry.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So XBlades picked you up 2020. So last year then.
They picked me up. Spring of 2021. Exactly.
Yeah. So ever since then, it's been you and the other pilots on the roster, like Jess said, trying to get in that top 4. Well, this shows you what hard work can do, right? You grind for it, you want it, you turn up, you put the time in, you make it onto the top 4. So congrats, Gundren. Welcome. We have you racing with us big time with XBlades and an important part of the season as well. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm definitely super excited to finally be racing. And also, obviously, a little bit nervous because, it's an important part of the season. It's the next 2 races are going to be very important.
Ooh.
We'll
bring Gundren back in a moment.
Hashtag
Nate,
bring Gundren back.
Yeah, Nate, you've had your first race a few races ago, didn't you? I think you started off this season. You were in the first stop, and now we get to see more from you. How are you feeling ahead of this weekend?
A bit excited. Obviously, it's always exciting to be back in the race. Not much else. I'm just super excited to race again. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Sarah QT has joined the chat to ask, why are you so fast? Who's Sarah QT? She knows you're racing, Nate.
I don't know. Who is it?
Well, they're a fan, which is cool.
Awesome.
What's it been like behind the scenes with Supersonic X? Because this season, let's be honest, got a couple of races yet, of course, but it's Supersonic X are not where they wanted to be.
It's challenging, to be honest. We within the team, we always feel like we got them really good pilots and we're able to get the results we want. But for some reason, it always just not there. Also, like with preparing the team, like behind the scenes, it's a bit of a struggle, like a language barrier, because we have so many pilots from so many places. It's challenging, but we're able to do it. So yeah.
It's just been, an unfortunate season for you guys in the sense that, like you say, individually, all the pilots, the pirates. I really just want to refer to you guys as that from now on.
Love it.
Are extremely, like, really, really good pilots in your team, and I can believe, behind the scenes, it's not like you don't put the work in. I see it regularly on the leaderboards in DCL the game that you guys are holding some of the top spots there. So is it something stress on the day, or is it just a pre-summer bad luck, and now that you're back, you're shaking it off and you're gonna get to the finish line?
Could be a mix of everything, to be honest. We're gonna try our best. Luck was not on our side in the last races, but hopefully this one would be different.
Yeah, well, it's the round robin format. You've got to turn up against all of the other teams, of course, which is giving everybody a chance to show, the best that they can do against all the opposition. It's like I say, it's been a little bit of a disappointing season, I guess, for everybody involved at Supersonic X, HJ, and the others who are all involved behind the scenes too. But plenty of points still to be grabbed. Big races yet. We've got this weekend on Saturday. Live, by the way, at 10 a.m. UTC is when we go racing around Rapperswil, and then we have another race in October to wrap up our season. So we can see Supersonic X moving up the leaderboard a little bit more since then. Gundren is back with us. So Gundren, you're making your debut, as we say, for XBlades. We've seen you race under the different name before, but on a wildcard team. Now you're here on not just one of the, the 6 solid teams at a DCL, but one of the biggest names we've got, right? XBlades, 5-time previous champions. Huge honor to be flying with them and being picked for them. So congratulations again. Now that you're on that starting 4, has anything been different for you? Have the other pilots been getting, I'm sure you all know each other anyway, but have the other pilots been getting in touch more? Have they been helping you prep in any extra ways ahead of Saturday?
Well, we're always communicating a lot with each other, and we're also always practicing a lot with each other. So not a lot changed from this perspective. But yeah, they definitely are supportive. They show me around with all the stuff that I have to get ready for the race, like all the technical setup, and also they told me a lot about how it works and what I have to look out for. And I think, they definitely helped me a lot to prepare for it. I'm feeling pretty confident for Saturday. I think it's a lot of pressure that is on me since it's XBlades and they have high expectations. But I think I can do it. I will be obviously more in a kind of support role since I will be flying with DarkX, who is obviously going to be our front runner. So that takes a little bit of pressure off, but still I have to be there for every race and try and do my best.
You've got, on the roster, you've got Yayu and Drobot, Ashton Gamble. They're racing alongside you, as well as DarkX, of course. So yeah, on the one hand, you've got a lot of pressure on you because you've got to show why you are worthy of one of those 4 spots to race for XBlades. But you might say on the other hand, you've got such brilliant teammates. As you say, you can maybe expect to be in a support role. And so, you don't have to win every race. Obviously, you want to be in second or winning them. But does that make things a little bit easier for you, knowing that if you're not in the lead, there's a very good chance that XBlades are with someone else?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It takes some pressure off. But still, I have an amazing team with me. So that's awesome. But I have to do my absolute best and show that I'm a valuable asset to the team. And I think, that's
Gundren, have you ever been known as any other names under your racing? I can see a few people in chat right now trying to work out who you are. Mysterious Gundren.
No, actually not. No, I've been Gundren from the beginning. I haven't done a lot. I saw before a question about why I don't do more IRL races, and I think I wanted to answer that because it's quite difficult for me where I live. It's the tolerance for FPV isn't that great here, so everywhere I try to go and practice, I often just get shooed away because some farmer owns the land or the football club doesn't want to lend their field, their soccer pitch. So I haven't been able to practice quite as much, and that's why I haven't yet gone to any real life races, but I'm trying to get a flying field and then hopefully go to some IRL races because that's definitely the goal. But at the moment, I'm primarily a sim racer.
And we're glad to have you with us as well. But since 2023 that we go back to real life flying, there's only a certain amount we can say, but we can say we are going back to real life flying next year. So we'll see who's good on sims and who's good in real life and how that season works out. But we've got a bit more of this one to go yet. Gundren, have you ever done anything like crazy setting up for a drone race? Have you ever like snuck into anywhere? You can tell us, it's fine. I want to know actually what everybody's kind of crazy stories is about getting some practice.
Of course, yeah. I think here it's a lot of. Sometimes I go to the fields and then it's like you can just practice as long as no one notices, but then at some point someone comes, and I also already had some encounters with some fairly angry farmers, which were a bit scary. But you do anything you can to get your practice in.
Yeah. If anyone's got any stories, let us know in the chat if you've, snuck over some fences or through a window, or I'm not condoning any of this, obviously, but I want to know all about it.
100% don't encourage it.
Yeah, absolutely.
If it's against the law, we're totally.
We're not encouraging people to break the law, no. But if you know any stories of anyone, you or yourself or somebody else who isn't you, who have or have not at some point or other been somewhere that you should or should not have had been in order to fly, terms and conditions apply, then please do or do not or do tell us in the chat any stories you do have about you or someone else anonymously.
It can be about your friend. It's not you.
Your friend does this all the time.
Definitely your friend. Exactly. Yeah. We know it's not you, that you're not breaking any rules. We understand that. But your friend, you have a really, really rebellious friend.
We all know about your friend anyway. Like, tell us. That's right. Sarah QT appreciates the legal speech. Yeah, it was dotting the I's and crossing the T's, and your home is at risk if you do not keep up repayments. It's all good. It's a professional show, isn't it, Jess? We have all this stuff thoroughly checked by our extensive legal team.
Super.
Tell us in the chat.
Yeah, I have a question for Gundren though. Where does the FPV name actually come from? Because I don't know if you want to say your in real life name and surname, but completely unrelated. So I've been wondering how you. Yeah,
well, it's actually not that great of a story. I was when I started flying in Velocity drone, I thought I need a name to represent myself. And with the Yannis, with the J and stuff, it's sometimes a bit difficult for American people or English people in general to pronounce it. It's often Janice or something. So I thought, let's go with something completely different. And I was playing D&D at the time with my friends. And a D&D name in one of the adventures we were playing was Gundren, and I liked it. And since I'm not creative, I just took that and put FPV behind it, and that's it.
I think that's quite often people's ideas. Just like, I just went for something 10 years ago and I'm stuck with it now. Star has mentioned that to me before with all the numbers after his
Star, I find Stars
2, 3, 4, 6, 7.
I love how especially he made a mistake when he did the thing, but he just kind of was like, and then
I just own it now. Yeah. Bambi in chat wants some secret intel on the new IRL races and events. Well, Bambi,
We have got some intel for you. Do we, Matt, have intel?
Well, Jess, I don't know if the legal team approved all the stuff we could. Jess is sat next to me, obviously. I see it's exactly the same room and everything. What can we say? We are racing in real life next year for sure. Please nobody start a plague or pandemic in the meantime. That might
so next year, to develop on that, next year will be a hybrid season, what we'd initially planned for 2021 and then 2022, and obviously the pandemic did not allow. But if all goes well with, like Matt said, no plague, please stop monkeypox, we should be fine. In 2023, we have what's the word I just used? Hybrid. We have a hybrid season, so where we have a few in real life races and then we have a few virtual races. And the format is great because kind of everyone can take part, because some pilots are less prone to wanting to be in real life as well. There are things like social anxiety that we don't actually talk about enough, but it's not always easy being in a crowd. So yeah, we understand that also we want to accommodate people who feel that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
But the point being is we are really excited because in real life racing is also coming back. And trust me when I say everyone at DCL has been waiting for this moment for such a long time. We are just as frustrated as you all are. And this is really, really good news for all of us. The locations for now cannot be disclosed. All I can say is there's some people that we've been talking to, and some of the tracks that you have already seen or will see in the next races are potential places where we might go do that in real life as well. But you heard nothing from me. I said nothing. And I didn't ruin the events team entire strategy.
That was cryptic and yet really quite easy to solve.
We don't have,
which is perfect, really, isn't it? I think that's exactly what we needed. I think you can work stuff out there. Stuff you might see soon might be relevant to somewhere we might go.
Possibly cool. in a possible world of probability, we might happen to be present in certain places.
What a coincidence that would be. Astronaut says everyone they've got the intel and they've got the clearance, so we could probably tell you. I'm so tempted to unplug my camera just as I'm about to say it, just have everyone freak out that I've been, taken out by the DCL silent squad or something. But we're actually going to.
I think I just want to clarify, I'm not sure if I understood the comments correctly, but we're not doing just one in real life race. There are going to be multiple. When we say hybrid, it means multiple real life races and multiple game virtual races. We really hope to not just have one location. It would be kind of a pity to bring back real life for just one thing.
And it's so much work too. Let's be real here.
Yeah, no.
To make it happen at all, it's a massive undertaking. There's so many people, DCL crew, broadcast crew, on-site locations. It's a massive thing. We go to real places. We turn them into drone races. We don't play it safe. We don't go and just get a barn somewhere or a disused building of some kind and stick some gates in it and race around in that. We go outdoors. We go on top of mountains. We've raced in the center of Paris. We like cities. We like beautiful locations. We're not just going to go and get some indoor venue that could be anywhere and race inside it. We love the world and we love to turn it into drone racing experiences. And there's so much work to make it happen. It would be crazy to do it once. And also, we know we can do it, and we're just desperate to do it again. We have been all this time. So it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And it's going to happen in
Even I don't know what you're saying, Matt, but cool. Anyway, so yeah, the big scoop here. I mean, we've been talking about it for a while, so it's not really new. But 2023, the plan is 100% bring back in real life racing. Still keep virtual though, because for a lot of people, it's a format that works well too. And yeah, we will be back. But in the meantime, we still have a season to finish with 2 races left. So on Saturday at 10 a.m. UTC live on Twitch, there is the Lake Zurich race. And on Saturday, the 15th of October, we will be in the Stavanger region to do the season finale where everyone will race it off. And considering how really good the teams look for, I mean, if you guys have had a chance to see the team rosters, if not, you can check them on our socials or on our website for the upcoming race. Some really exciting stuff. So yeah, I think that this race is going to change a few things, and the grand finale will be a decider.
Yeah.
In, you know, where the, because Gundren, you, I mean, I've obviously been following what XBlades has been doing. And we've had 3 races thus far. The first 2 won by Raiden, but both times XBlades was in the final against Raiden. And then in the 3rd race in Reuter, Austria, you came head-to-head again in the grand final, and this time XBlades won.
Yeah, it's crazily close between these 2 teams, Raiden and us. I think it definitely can go either way. I'm obviously really hoping that it goes our way, and I think we can do it. We can win. We do have the capacity, but yeah, they are super fast. They have some great pilots, and yeah, I think it's awesome that it's such an interesting season, such a close matchup between us and Raiden. And yeah, let's see what happens. I'm definitely going to try my best to put them into second with what I can do on Saturday. But yeah, it's definitely not going to be easy. Not at all.
Yeah, this season, actually, some people were asking me yesterday, do you think this is going to be done? Do you think, you know, if Raiden win it, is it over? Like, no, this one's going to the end of the season. And thank whatever you want to say thanks to, every single season we've had has always gone to the final day. It's never been like wrapped up on the 4th weekend of 5 or something like that. We've always had everything to play for on the last day, which is great. And the points between Raiden and XBlades are so close. You know, Raiden won 2 finals, XBlades have won the other one. 50 points in it, that's nothing. It's going to need one of the teams to have a bit of a shocker for that gap to be anything significantly bigger. But let's remember that the last time we raced, whenever that was, it was ages ago, pre-summer.
June.
Actually, yeah, there was a time during that when we thought, you know what, Raiden aren't even going to be in the small final, or they're not even going to be in the grand final. We nearly had quite a big gap in points. So it's a cliche to say it's all to play for, but hey, it's all to play for.
But it is. And I mean, we've seen this season teams, you know, Spain Drone team, whose first official season was last season, they struggled a bit. And this season they've been doing much better. I believe in the 2nd or 3rd race, they were in the small final. Someone correct me if I'm wrong here. But they have been upping their game too. Obviously, you know, we know Supersonic X, unfortunately, the leaderboard does not reflect the quality that your team has. China Dragons have been in a few small finals as well. So it's, you know, we thought it was 1, 2, 3, Raiden, XBlades, Quad Force 1, because that's just what it's been for a few years now. But we have been really positively surprised that the underdogs have been bringing it as well this season. And this is why I say I still think there's a lot to fly for. And it will be really exciting to see what happens there. But Nate, where... Oh, sorry,
Yes.
go, Matt.
I was just wondering what if Nate, while we're on this topic, Nate, we've already briefly mentioned earlier in the show about, you know, Supersonic X will be disappointed with how the season has gone so far. What's what are SuperSonic X looking to achieve now in the rest of 2022? Is there a place in the leaderboard where you guys would think, okay, that is a good finish for this season, given how it started, or is this? I mean, this season is beyond in terms of you topping the leaderboard. What's a good outcome for 2022, or is it just we're not sure? We're going to leave the season. We're just going to get airtime in, and then we'll come back next year.
I think we'll still try to do our best, as every other team. We want to probably get 4th or 3rd. I mean, everybody wants to be on the podium, right?
Of course.
Yeah, we're not sure how. It's a pretty tough competition. All the teams are basically leveled, with really good pilots, especially XBlades and Raiden, as you can see. But we want to do our best. I mean, we're not. We haven't given up. In this race, we feel like we're gonna give our best and see what's the outcome gonna be.
And preparations have all been going well ahead of Saturday. Have you guys got loads of practice in over the summer break or something like that?
Yes, I mean, some less, but the people we are basically Shane and Minjay. I've been putting in a lot of time, and as you see in the game, they're topping the leaderboard. So we hopefully they'll show up big time.
Are you saying you haven't been putting the time in, Nate?
I haven't said that. You'll wait and see.
Yeah.
So how does SuperSonic X prepare for a race? Do you guys also go through, what XBlades do, that you have a race to decide which pilots are flying, or is the system different? Then do you practice every week, every few days? How is the process build up to a race?
Yeah, last year we did exactly like XBlades. So basically we had all the pilots racing a race flow and see who gets the top 4, and then those 4 would go on and race the race. But this year we have limited pilots. Not everyone is able to join the races, so they we mix a lot of pilots. As you can see, in every race, there is Keepy might show up, Kryson might show up. I show up sometimes, surprisingly enough. So it's kind of a mix. Yeah, I try.
And there's a question from Bambi. Wait, I love this putting comments on the screen thing.
Yeah,
is that your TX16S collection behind you, Nate? Can we show Nate?
This is my custom TX16 Max. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Mm.
I love the color.
What's custom about it for people who aren't familiar? What are we looking at?
The colors. This was not you could not get it when it first came out. So the white faceplate, you could not. I think the colors were rose gold, black, and silver and black at the bottom. So this is a totally white faceplate with the pink CNC. So yeah, it looks quite nice. And also the gimbals are the Hall sensors or Hall effect. Not sure which ones, but it's the special ones with the holes, so you could easily set up the way you like it. So yeah. And the other one behind me.
That's getting a lot of
the
love
Twitch
in
chat. Yeah, really loves your.
Are you a pincher? Nice stick ends, says Bambi.
No,
sort of question you
I'm a
get
thumber.
after our show, isn't it?
Do you not destroy your thumbs?
Nah, this
Gundren's a thumber as well.
No.
Thanks to Flight 533, these thumbsticks are really good. They don't rip your skin as much. And you can put in a lot of time, and your fingers are just fine. After a few days, it's surprisingly enough. But yeah, these ripsticks are for hybrid, but I found them really good for anything, any grip. There's a standard, as Heads Up said. You could use it pinch, hybrid, thumbs, anything you'd like.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
There's a mix in chat for who's supporting which. I can't get over some of the grips I've seen also shared on our Discord as well, which if you aren't already in, everybody, you really should join. The community are in there, the pilots, you can talk about the game, you can talk about what we do live as well. There's been some pictures shared in there of thumb grips, which are frankly terrifying. Yeah. They just look Like they should be banned weapons. There's no way that sort of thing should be allowed in anyone's hands, let alone under a thumb under pressure.
Unsafe for work. Yeah.
I think if you fly as long as some of us guys do to practice for these races, it can be any thumbstick and your finger's gonna hurt at the end.
I used to do a lot of martial arts. I used to do a lot of kung fu and kickboxing when I was a bit younger. It's true. So I used to have, like those calluses, basically, hard patches on your feet where it's just been worn away, and it's painful at first and you get a lot of blisters, but after a while you can't feel anything there because that part of your foot, for spinning kicks and so on, is not dead, but you know what I mean? The skin has gone really hard, so you don't really have so much feeling there. Is that true for thumbs? Do you guys have just like thumbs with no sense in them anymore at all? They're just dead lumps that stick to pads. That's it.
I feel like the spikes on the like grind down that skin, so it evens out.
For me, it's true to some kind, because I do have some calluses on my fingers where I use the thumb. So if I have a long break, it hurts more the first few days, and then it stops hurting.
Yeah, because you start to sort of recover. And Zeesh, what? You had to file down your gimbals. They were cutting. No.
Can definitely relate.
We should have done this later on in the evening, Jess. I didn't realize we were going to get so. We should have done a little warning beforehand, saying, "Warning: this show contains scenes of savage violence and scary pointy."
No, but there's some interesting. This thing isn't, but there's some interesting people saying different things that they do. So some people use cotton buds. Some people they will file down, or custom stick ends, thumb grips. I mean, there are ways, I guess, that makes it less bad, but the less bad being I don't know, I feel like this is still not great. It doesn't sound comfortable to spend like hours just like it feels like already just when I hold my phone and I move my thumb a bit, it hurts. So how you guys have the endurance to do it, just from a muscular point of view as well, is quite honestly impressive.
I like what Zeesh is saying about Shane using actual cotton buds. Just like these tiny little cotton buds as pinchers.
Wait, is that not is that someone trying to make No, I genuinely believe that was a thing. Like, but special cotton buds. Okay, so
people use them for but
no, you you take the cotton and you stick it on top, right? Basically.
He wraps it up. No, he wraps it around.
You get your thumbs amputated and you use them as thumbs. So you're like this, and then there are cotton buds sticking out, and you get right in there.
What I also wanted to try out was flying a drone with a big size controller with like controls like a plane or something. Maybe that would work as well if you have like 2 pedals and a steering wheel or something. Maybe that would be less painful than with the drone controller.
Everyone with steering wheels from now on.
Yeah. But in all honesty,
steering wheels.
Yeah, exactly. The stuff with the pain, I think for me it's like it's at the beginning it was a bit uncomfortable, but then you get used to it, and I can easily fly for several hours a day and not get uncomfortable. But I don't know, maybe it's different for other people.
Let's have a quick vote in chat. Actually, are you thumbs or are you pinch? So hashtag thumbs or hashtag pinches. And
no, I'm making a little poll, Matt.
Oh, can you do an actual poll? Wait, don't go anywhere, anybody. Don't go anywhere, anybody. Just working it out.
I mean, you can also.
I see Pebbles with us in chat. Pebble, good to have you around. I see you were asking earlier on about the real life races. Yeah, we're going real life flying. Yeah, there's going to be more than one. Yeah, where have you been? And also, Halo Walker raised an interesting question, which we might come back to later on in the show. He's saying, how are DRL pilots flying DCL? I wonder who you might be referring to, Halo Walker. I wonder if that's anything to do with the recent draft and the return of Evan Turner, Heads Up FPV to us here at the DCL. Evan Turner returns to Quad Force 1. Yes, he raced in the DRL. Yes, he won the DRL, but he's come back to DCL, and we are absolutely thrilled to see him back. In fact, when I saw the announcement go out that Heads Up had been picked for Quad Force 1 and it just said Heads Up, not Heads Up FPV, I nearly messaged you, Jess. Obviously, you're right next to me.
Oh, you did message me.
I nearly messaged you saying, hey, Jess, that guy might have to change his name because it's a bit similar to Heads Up FPV. And then we went, no, wait a minute. It is actually him. So, yeah, Evan Turner returns to the DCL, and we're thrilled to have you back, Evan.
I got a message as well when, obviously, we were going through the draft process and everything. Internally, we kind of communicate with the teams and stuff, and Quad Force 1 was really, really on time. So it was great. And so quite early on, we got the message that Heads Up was one of their picks. So not from the draft selection itself, but kind of as part of the draft process. And I was like, are we talking about the same Heads Up that used to be at DCL that then left us for DRL and is now coming back because he realized the grass is not greener on the other side? Oh, no disrespect to DRL. No, they're an amazing tournament in their own right. Honestly, the DRL pilots are insane. It's a really, really great tournament. But obviously, you know, we're going to sell ourselves as being the best. That goes without saying. And we are really happy that Heads Up / Evan Turner has decided to rejoin Quad Force 1 and come race in DCL, and I think that will be very interesting to see on the weekend as well. Quad Force 1 are bringing in the big guns, and
yeah, Evan Turner returns not just to the pilots. The teams have to make a roster of 12 pilots at the start of the year from the pilots that they can use. After the second draft, which we had in the summer break, that is slightly extended to 13 pilots. So there are 13 pilots now that Quad Force 1 can use for the rest of the season. That includes their pilots in the Women's Cup too. And Evan Turner is not just back on their big roster, but he's in the starting 4. You're going to see him racing for the DCL this Saturday, which is great. I think it's a fantastic pickup for them. I think it's really exciting seeing what Quad Force 1 are trying to do. Stokes saying he didn't even have to fly the draft to be drafted. So remember that, as well as the draft selection, which anybody can enter on Xbox or PlayStation or on Steam, and you play the game in a certain window that we had a few weeks ago, which is, you had some time to set some, you had a period of time to set your fastest times on tracks, and then from that we took the best pilots and we gave them a 24-hour challenge. The teams always do have the ability to do free picks as well. There are certain rules on who is eligible. We're not going to go into in-depth rulebook stuff now, but it's something that the teams will know about at the start of the season. Everybody has agreed to it. The teams all are involved in setting this thing, the rulebook. So he was a free pick and he's back in, and that's cool. But we got Nate and Gundren with us, so I feel like let's talk a little bit more.
Just want to give like a quick technicality on the Heads Up, and this is relevant for anyone, kind of everyone right now. He was actually technically not a free pick, because once you have been a DCL pilot in any race at any point in time, even if it's in a wildcard team, if you raced 5 years ago, whatever, you become a DCL pilot, a title that you keep kind of for life, even if you're no longer officially racing or officially part of a team, meaning that you can come back to DCL at any point, and you don't necessarily have to go through a draft process or anything, because you have proven before, that you're capable of having the sportsmanship and skills to be able to fly in DCL. And so the DCL organization, as well as the teams that are part of it, all recognize that we know what's happened there. So that said, the draft selection is still very valid, and because not everyone has been a DCL pilot before, so we do encourage you to take part in draft selections whenever they are there, because I believe, Nate, I think that's how you were recruited by SuperSonics.
Mm-hmm.
When and how? What was the draft process for you?
So that was back in last year, I believe, with Gundren, the same draft select. I just flew the thing, streamed it on Twitch, and I was contacted by HJ on Instagram, actually. So we talked back and forth. I finished up the draft wasn't like so successful. My last 2 runs, I think, got canceled because of like a bug. But because I was able to still like record what I did right before that, I was able to show it to AJ, and he just approved and signed me up.
That's awesome. And
yeah, good point,
you were
Jess.
the
Sorry,
one
I was
who
getting
sent
confused
me...
about the free pick thing.
Oh yeah, no, there are a bunch of picks, but
if you were a pilot on a different DCL team some time ago, and you wanted to race for another DCL team now, then they have to go through a slightly different process. But of course, Evan is once DCL, always DCL, and going back to Quad Force 1, so that's actually quite straightforward.
Yep.
But always.
Nate, I had a follow-up question about the draft. You were the one who messaged me on Instagram asking me if I could follow, if DCL could follow you, right? I mean, when I say message me, like the DCL account.
Yeah, that would be told
you,
funny.
Yeah, and so I remember replying, if you become a DCL pilot, sure. And so the next draft selection, you got picked. So I was like, cool, well, a promise is a promise, and I follow you. So note for anyone who wants DCL to officially follow them, become a pilot, and then that's your ticket. We'll follow you then.
It's that easy. Become a pilot. It's easy.
Exactly.
Anybody can do that.
Yeah, even Evan Turner got back in. I mean, oh my god, how easy can it be? We were talking earlier on. Actually, hang on. Before Nate, I wanted to talk to you about the fact that you're in Israel, and I really wanted to explore what drone racing is like in Israel, because that's something that many people have no idea about much. Pretty much including myself. Although you and I have chatted on Twitch on my channel many times ago, I remember. But it's fascinating to hear what it's like in different parts of the world. But before we do, I think we have to go back to the very important topic of cotton wool and cotton buds, because Shane in the chat, one of your teammates, has got involved with What the Quad. Look at that. That I think is what HD streaming was invented for. I feel like this is why, 1080p, the move to 4K streaming and so on. I think that is why. Right there. Shane, it's got cotton wool on it. You're not kidding. The left thumb, you don't care about your left thumb then. The right thumb, a little bit weaker than the left thumb. The left thumb's like, yeah, I can take it. Give me some more pointy stuff. I'm all right. But right thumb, no. Thank you for sending that in, Shane. No. I kind of want you now to send a picture of your thumbs, but at the same time, don't do that.
Would not recommend. I've seen the photos.
Yeah,
this is the same. What is this TX16S as well? I kind of feel like I preferred Nate's. I'm just going to say it. It's just a bit shinier and a bit more rose goldy and a bit more.
Yeah, the rose gold was. Yeah. I was a fan. Is the hand that you use? Does being right-handed or left-handed have an impact on the way? Like, do some remotes actually switch the sides of things so that it's adapted to left-handed people, or how does that work?
I think it's like more for like a preference. Some people want like mode 1, some people like mode 2. It's not exactly for like left or right-handed, but I believe it does have like psychological way that your right hand, if you're right-handed, your right hand might perform faster, so you would probably want to run mode 1 because that's where the throttle and roll is on the same but it's just a theory, I guess.
We've got mode 1 fans. We've got mode 2 in the chat. We've got mode 3 in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it doesn't really matter which mode you use, depending on if you are right-handed or left-handed. I think it's just personal preference. A lot of people do different stuff. It's the same with the thumbing or pinching, where you just gotta figure out what's suited to you. And most often times it's just what you start with, or at least for me it was. I just started with what my brother was using, and then stayed with it.
So
and Shane, of course, came into the draft off of through the game, like everybody does in the draft, but not as a real life pilot first, as a gamer first. So you're saying, Shane, it's just you didn't know anything, so you just got used to how it was from the start, which is fair enough. And I love Sarah QT's way of racing. Mode 5, it's all throttle. That's the one I use as well, Sarah. We'll just go. Yeah. In fact, that's how I play pretty much every racing game. Just forwards, and the corners happen.
Always press W. I mean,
definitely.
So wait, just what is mode 1, what is mode 2, and what is mode 3?
So that's like it changes what your sticks do. So you can have either like throttle and the yaw on the same stick, but you can also have throttle and roll on the same stick, for example. And then it's also sometimes the throttle is on the left and sometimes it's the right. I don't know exactly which mode is what, but it just changes, what the functions of the different sticks are and what two functions are combined into one stick.
And do you program that, like, do you get one standard transmitter that you then program which side you want what? Or are the transmitters already calibrated for this and you buy transmitter mode 1 and transmitter mode 2 kind of already prefabricated like that?
Oh, there we have a good graphic. Yeah, you usually you can just change it yourself because so it sometimes does a bit matter when you buy it whether on which side the throttle is, because it has to be a different stick than the other stick. But yeah, in the end you can all customize it yourself and just open up your radio and change it up how you want it to be.
That's a great question, Jess. I'm really glad you raised that, because that may be something that we do take a little bit for granted. And I think it's something that when you're a new pilot, you're also like, oh, should I use mode 1? Or should I use mode 2? And even if you buy camera drones, not even racing, but if you buy like a DJI Mini or whatever, some of them will say, well, do you want to fly mode 1 or mode 2? And that's just like that extra thing that people have to sort of think about. But once you've picked one and you've got used to it, you never think about it again. You never switch these things around, do you guys? You like, this is how I fly now. But I'm glad you asked that, Jess, because it's like Shane was saying, in game he just started playing with what he had, and now that's how he flies. And some people will go, oh, this one is better than that, or only noobs use this. Everybody should fly that. No, you fly with what makes you comfortable. Fly with
I've seen some pros get bored of mode 2 and just switch to mode 1, like Min-Chen, for example. He did it mode 2
oh, he did.
time.
But Min-Chen just does things just because.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's at one with the control. He doesn't choose the mode on the controller. The controller chooses a mode for Min-Chen. It goes.
He actually doesn't even need a controller.
MCK.
No.
The drone just knows what to do when Min-Chen is behind it.
The dude just took a transmitter, turned it upside down, and still had like an impeccable, No.
If you haven't seen the pictures, MCK has flown our simulator holding a joypad the wrong way up. And if you don't know who we're talking about Min-Chen Kim, who is an incredible pilot. Won the World Drone Cup in Turkey recently, won the MotoGP thing that happened in the States a little while ago. Won the Commonwealth Games. No, not Commonwealth Games. World Games, drone racing that happened in the States a little while ago as well. Great pilot. Was racing in DCL last year. We haven't got him with this season, but that's okay. Did anyone see Bambi, G-Man from China Dragons, play up with his transmitter upside down so he didn't have to open up transmitter engine? He did. Yes, you're right. No, he did, didn't he? I had forgotten that, Bambi. Well remembered. Great. I'm glad you brought that in. Yeah.
Well, why not?
It would be uncomfortable. The sticks kind of like go into your hand.
Yeah.
Not the sticks. Things.
And Shane would have his left-hand thumb really padded, and his right-hand thumb would be like, "What have you done? Why have you forsaken me?" This is exactly what we came in for, isn't it? This is what I want to know about. Nate, can we talk a little bit around where you are in the world? Because Israel is, a place, a well-known, not very well-known country is the best way I can put it. It's a country that everybody, knows of, and yet also nobody really understands what it's like to live in Israel. Like I say, you and I have chatted on Twitch before. You've been very open on my Twitch channel about, you know, what the life is like in Israel when times are difficult. But if we keep this on drone racing, real life practice and stuff like that, how do you get on?
Well, I have like a small field really close to my house, so it's really not like that difficult for me to go and find a place. It's like literally a 2-minute walk. And usually, like the kids in my neighborhood, not the kids, the people in my neighborhood, parents, and everybody else just loves drones. I mean, no one ever complains, said something, it's being annoying. Everyone just come and watch. And it's like, I had some few kids just like shout when the drone came by. It's like they were so excited. It was wholesome. And yeah, now flying here sometimes could be difficult because here and there we have like operations where you can't really go outside. You have to stay indoors for your own safety. So when that happens, I just take my gaming rig, put it in the shelter, and just like go and fly whenever I can. So
wow,
yeah, never like practice.
I did say we didn't want to sort of we'd stick to drone racing, but just to give this a little bit of context, living in Israel where you are, sometimes you have to just go to a shelter. That's basically what you were telling me about before. There was a lot more information, and it was absolutely fantastic and fascinating to hear it for you. And I'm so glad you shared it with me and all the other people on my channel. But essentially, yeah, sometimes, yeah, you got to find a shelter now, and there are a lot of them. You were telling me as well.
Yeah, so basically, like every 10 meters, you would have a shelter because when those stuff that like do happen, you have 15 seconds to go and hide, and if not, you risk your life basically. So we have shelters scattered all around the area. So whenever this thing does happen, like the alert, you just run, you sprint, and you get to safety.
Wow, it's such an eye-opening kind of. Well, it's eye-opening. Just sort of think, oh my god, that's how a part of the world is working. Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to take the sort of mood of the stream down and make it all bleak, but I think it's fascinating to see the sort of different conditions that people are in. Star wants to know, is it an official FPV stream if you are live instead of in chat?
I'm in both places, by the way.
Yeah, Nate does it all. Nate's both real and in the metaverse all at the same time. He's ethereal, like all of us. Is any of this really real?
I mean, you're watching your screen.
Yeah. Stogs is asking the question that I must admit was on my mind as well. Imagine having your goggles on and the alarm goes off. Has anything like that happened, Nate? Have you ever had to just abandon what you're doing and get indoors?
Usually we would know when the situation heats up, so it's like we got on social media, they would say that stuff is going on in the near Gaza, so we just know when to fly and when not. So usually I never encountered that situation before.
Yeah. Wow. So there's no danger of I don't know, this might seem a little bit frivolous, but there's no danger of you. Oh no, it's not frivolous. It's part of our competition. You're racing for DCL this Saturday for SuperSonic X. There's no danger of you being like, oh right, gotta go.
There is sometimes when it like gets to near the race weekend, I'm like getting a bit stressed. Is everything gonna be all right? But usually it does. There's no races when stuff gets heated up. It's like you're not in control, but basically they just know when the race is gonna happen, so just stop. That's awesome.
Okay. Yeah, that's so supportive of them. I'm so good. This is about the time when Donut is meant to come into the chat and ask if the streams are not Oh, Donut, you've come in too early. Of course. Oh, he's coming too early because this is obviously pre-recorded, and now is the time when I meant to mention his. Too early, Donut, my friend. Too early. Oh look, there's part of my emotes up in the chat window. That's nice. Yeah.
Oh yeah, true. It's funny with this feature. Obviously, it just brings text up, and so if you have an emote that's then it looks like
that's one of mine. Which looks like that. Yeah.
On a perhaps slightly lighter note, maybe.
Yeah. Could it be possible?
Not that I judge that it's not very important to talk about the topics of war, etc. But I feel like, yeah, we're we are here to talk about drones and FPV, and if Nate feels comfortable with it, if you guys have questions, I'm sure he'll be happy to answer them via DM. But yeah, it is one of those things where it's, I can imagine, not easy for you, Nate, and I have this weird thing where I hope that one day we will all across the world live in peace. Unfortunately, I'm too much of a realist and makes me depressive. So,
oh, Jess, let's not. Yeah.
Nate, how did you start FPV flying? What got you into it?
So it's a kind of a funny story. I'm one of 3 triplets. So I went to a different school than them. They went to like a musical and arts school in Jerusalem, and they just one day they came home, and my dad is like a really big RC guy. We have a bunch of planes like around the house. So they just ran up to him and said, "Dad, we have this kid in class who is like the best drone pilot in Israel." And it's like he got excited. I was like listening from the side, like what's going on. So I asked him a few questions. They showed me the videos that he made. His name is Shadows FPV. He used to fly he does fly for XBlades, but I think back in 2018 was the last time he raced for DCL. So they showed me his videos, and I basically got in touch with him, asked him a few questions. He helped me get into the hobby, and here I am.
So now are you the best pilot in Israel?
I when it comes to IRL,
sorry, that is such a loaded question. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding, man. That's such an unfair question.
And so, how long now have you been flying?
I started flying back in 2019. Stopped due to COVID because I couldn't go out, and then started the sim. Yeah.
Okay.
So a few years now.
When you started simming, did you straight away go for DCL, or have you been dabbling in other sims too?
Honestly, I started on Freerider. So I took like my PS4 controller, hooked it up, just like wanted to see the world of FPV. Got hooked up, bought my transmitter. It was the Fly Sky one, and then back then DCL had like it was on beta. It was basically free, and you could fly a few maps. And I really loved them. The visuals were amazing. And I got hooked up, but then it got off of beta, and it was quite expensive back then. I forgot how much it was, but I was.
No, it's around 30 euros. I don't know what that is in Israeli.
Yeah, I mean, it had a full price release, so yeah. It's a typical. Yeah, so you got it. So you got it straight away, or you got it a little bit later?
I got it late. I got it in May, I think. Like a few months after it got released, I believe.
Of course, now we should say, and this may have flown under a few people's radars, but if you have PlayStation Plus and you have one of the new subscriptions, if you have the Deluxe, or the middle name escapes me, there's Essential something and Deluxe Extra. No, that's not right. There's 3 tiers of PlayStation Plus now, and you can find DCL the game on some of them. So if you have a PlayStation and you don't have a copy of DCL the game, but if you've got the Deluxe subscription, and I think it might be on the middle tier as well, you can now play DCL the game for free on PlayStation as it's part of the PlayStation Plus subscription. PlayStation Plus, if you're sort of thinking, hang on, how does that work out? PlayStation Plus used to be, they gave you a couple of games as part of the subscription every month, but now there are 3 tiers of it. And on some of the more expensive tiers, you get loads more games. Most importantly, DCL the game is in there as well. So you can play it on PlayStation. As well as playing it on Xbox and on Steam.
I approve.
Yep. I did not know this about
I know, Shane.
PlayStation. I literally just learned this about the PlayStation Plus. So
there you go. And Kite's got a hard copy of DCL for PS4. Good. Yeah, I've got a little physical copy of that around as well. It would actually help the Xbox. It would be good to see more Xbox pilots coming in. Yeah, and of course, if you're interested in getting involved in it and wanting to know how to fly it well and need tips from people, then the Discord would be a good place to go, which I think I can do that on. And there's the Discord. Cool.
The link is in the chat. But yeah, just to quickly mention, so Matt was obviously talking about PS4, someone in the... But DCL the game, which is used for our live races as well as for all our pro pilots to practice, as well as anyone just generally wanting to learn FPV drone racing.
Yeah.
There's some easy modes in there for it to be a way to learn at first. And our producer Freshie, when he first started, well, they first started, didn't really know that much, and now is getting better and better every day. So there are a lot of other drone sims on the market, and all have great things about them, honestly. But yeah, DCL the game is available on PS4, Xbox, and Steam, and it is really within your best interest to tell your friends to join, just because you guys can all race together on the sim, and that's really cool. To be able to just vibe. Exactly, you can show them how much better you are.
Is what you need to do, obviously. It's what drives.
They went on a cool holiday in Barbados, but you won in the race. So, you know, we're square.
Hang on, wait. Can I go commentating on holidays in Barbados now? That sounds like an interesting gig.
No, I keep trying to like slide ideas to the big boss of places to do like races and stuff, but not for the race, but just so I can then take an extra week and go on holiday somewhere there.
So you've blown
it's
it
not
now,
been
Jess.
working so well.
You've blown it.
Oh no, but it's not working.
If it was like, yeah, and we totally want to see if the track will look good on this beach by this beach bar. With the setting sun in the background. I just want to, do you know what? I've tried it out from this side, but I just need a few more days in Barbados to try the beach out from multiple angles, just to check the lighting, really. Obviously, at different times of day, on different days, from different places on the beach. And this cocktail that's in my hand is purely there. Well, somebody just put it there. I didn't even ask them. Yeah. Cool. Good, Jess. Thank you for doing all that research, Jess.
But yeah, I dedicate myself to the cause. You know, I visit all these places and I work really hard to make sure that it's the right. No, I don't actually ever. I'm not at all part of the events team.
We don't get to go off and do stuff like that at all.
I wish. But I had an actual question that was actually. Relevant. Oh, it's for the Twitch chats. If you guys could pick one city or small town or something that you know in your country that you think would be a good venue for a race, what would it be? And I'm not asking that in the sense, just what is your kind of a thing, you know, like we were saying, we were in the Champs-Élysées in Paris, or we were in Castle Ruins in Reuter, and so coming up we'll be in Lake Zurich, where we go in the city of Rapperswil, so it kind of goes from the castle to over the lake, so that kind of mixing of earth and water. And in the lake, we have some amazing drone footage. You guys should check it on our Instagram and TikTok of one of our ex-pilots who fell into the lake, and then the fish come, and so you have footage of him flying with the fishes, which is quite cool. But yeah, if you have any suggestions for places that you could think of, you know, bring it. I am always happy to suggest to the events team really cool places. In the meantime, though, do you have any questions for our pilots who are obviously here in order to, you know, answer your questions as well as ours? So feel free to also put those in the Twitch chat, and we'll do our cute little feature thingy where the question pops up. But in the meantime, Gundren, how did you get into drone racing?
So I initially got into drones because of my brother. He was flying drones. I don't exactly know how he came to it. I think he just saw it on YouTube or something. And then I started with just freestyle flying and just going sometimes with him outdoors, ripping some batteries and having fun. It wasn't really anything serious or something. And then at the beginning of 2020, I started to become interested in FPV racing, and then started to practice on the simulator. And so that's when I really started taking drone racing a bit more serious and started racing at all before. I was just doing freestyle, as I said, and that's when I started.
And
cool.
You've made this impact that I think, like, if people didn't catch the start of the show, you've made this impact that maybe people don't realize, that you got picked for XBlades a while ago now. It's just you haven't been able to start on the starting 4 until now. But you've been involved in the team. You know the pilots. You haven't just come out of thin air now. This has been a kind of a long-term growth for you, which is fantastic. Well, there's ever a time where you thought, oh, I'm never going to get onto this top 4. You know, they've got Dark X, they've got Drobot, you know, they've had Banny in the past and so on as well. You know, these, and I'm sure I've forgotten other incredible pilots too. Was there ever a time when you were thinking, I'm glad that I'm here in XBlades, but I'm not going to make that top 4?
Yeah, it definitely also did sometimes get a bit frustrating, because I knew for me to get to fly, I have to be a really, really, really good pilot, and I have to get in those top 4, and I have a huge competition in XBlades with a lot of very good pilots. So it did sometimes get a bit frustrating and even seem a bit impossible. But I think, with the time also, my passion for it grew, and I started to want it more and more and more, and put in the time, and with some time it finally happened, but it wasn't easy at all.
But do you feel like being, though, in a team with the big names, and that it pushed you to get better than if, you know, there hadn't been as, like, all of the talent? Do you feel that pushed you to grow?
Oh yeah, definitely, because I knew it wouldn't come easy, because I knew those guys do a hell of a lot of practice, and they aren't just there by chance. They're there because they are hardworking people, hardworking pilots. And it definitely it has its advantages and disadvantages. In another team, I may have raced earlier, but I may have also been less driven to outperform myself, to grow, to become faster. So I think essentially it was a good thing, and it definitely helped in my development as a pilot and in my racing skills.
There's a question from the audience I mean, there are different versions of this question. So this one in particular is, how many hours do you have on DCL? But so for both of you, how many hours have you clocked in on DCL the game?
Let me just check.
For me, it is about 350 hours, but like in total on sim time, total I have like 1,200 hours or something.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
I have 513 hours on record.
And your teammates want to know how much practice you've been doing for this weekend.
Trying to bash me on stream. Should I be answering that?
Well, you know what? Why don't you just make it? You can just make it up. You could just tell them, you know, like
every day.
25 hours a day.
25 hours a day.
36 hours a day.
25,
exactly.
8. You know, all the hours, all the days.
Enough.
It's there you go. He says he's done enough. Shane, get yourself sorted out. Now we got a few opinions for you, Jess. We've got Stonks wants us to go to Sydney. Now
the cities.
Sydney
I really like that.
Ago. I always wanted to go and visit Australia, and Sydney would be. I mean, obviously, right? The bridge and the opera house and stuff like that would be cool. Londonite, Zeesh, obviously, like, I'm here in the UK. I've been crying out for us to have a UK race. I know all my UK people would turn up. We'd have such fun. There'd be such a huge crowd. There is everywhere we ever did a real life race. And if you get the chance to come, wherever it is we're going next year, which obviously I can tell you, but somebody will push the mute button if I go anywhere near saying. But if you can come to one of our locations next year or in future years, because hey, we're hanging around, it's so much fun. We have a proper party atmosphere. There are families there as well, people bringing the whole family along. We have great entertainment, and we have this fantastic racing. So if you get the chance to come, you must you are invited. I invite you, please come. But London Eye, yeah, doing one in the UK. I mean, in London, on the Thames. That's what I think we should do. It's just not going to be possible to ever get permission to do it. But somewhere on the Thames, over the river, in any direction you look, there's something legendary. That would be cool. Berlin, Kreisen, we did Station Berlin at the end of the 2017 season. But it'd be nice to go back to Berlin and do somewhere a bit more recognizable. The Brandenburg Gate or whatever in somewhere essentially a bit of somewhere big, and that would be cool. Starbase in Texas around the SpaceX rocket factory, says Kite.
Yeah, that's
wow.
Elon Musk would love it. Probably. That would be.
Now, Bambi, this I don't know at all. I don't. Yeah, Bambi, the place called the Edge in Cheshire, a little village called Audley Edge, views and countryside, epic, and drop-offs where you can view all the way to the city. That's interesting.
That's very cool.
Bit of beautiful British countryside. Well. Wouldn't go amiss.
You made Matt happy. He's going to try convince DCL to do. I think there are a few people that says Disney, but I don't know if that.
Yeah, Disneyland. That'd be something. And Guile wants to come to Singapore and dive in Marina Bay. Oh, Guile. Can I say this? Let's just say that I had the delight of working in Singapore back early in DCL's time, not with DCL, on a different thing. There you go. And after going there and seeing how beautiful Singapore is and the gardens by the bay and everything like that, I was saying to DCL, we have to go and fly in Singapore. And that, I'll say it, that was going to happen. We can say that. We were organizing something for Singapore. Didn't come off, but what a place! It's a beautiful place, Singapore. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Melissa FPV just said, "What are drop bears?"
I don't know.
Because that sounds scary. Is this one
bears
of the Australia has exactly? No, because like Australia has so many animals trying to kill you that it would not surprise me that there are genuinely bears falling from the sky.
It also sounds awesome, to be honest.
If they're cute little teddy bears, I'm 100% for it, though.
If it's in Australia, they're not cute little teddy bears. They're
no, but some of their animals. Look at kappa bear and like koalas and stuff. They're so cute.
Deadly. Do you know more people are killed by koalas than by sharks?
That's
That's a story.
Okay, right. This raises more questions. Firstly, let me say, no, I
this
just
can't
made
be
that
real.
up completely. There are not more people killed by koalas than sharks. I was just wanting Jess to bite on that, and I was going to make up a load of science, but I don't need to. What concerns me more is that someone in production had this ready to go. I mean, I know the show is planned and written and pre-recorded, obviously, as the One Donut pointed out earlier on. But why is this? This begs a lot of questions about Freshie, the producer.
It really does. But no, there is genuinely a problem with koalas in Australia. They have really high STD and STI issues. Like all the koalas are like sick of stuff, and so they have like specialized wards for the koalas to treat all of these things, which genuinely
Australia needs to get their animals under control.
Yeah, no, like they just create new animals and test. I feel like they're like a beta version of animals. They just program something, put it out, and see, okay, how are people going to react to this? And if it doesn't work, they keep it in Australia. And if
there aren't enough animals in the world. Let's create some new ones. What should we create? Oh, I don't know. I've always liked bears, but they're a bit dangerous. Why don't we make a smaller version of a bear? Would you mean like a baby bear? No, like a bear which doesn't grow any bigger. Oh, okay, cool. Well, just ask David Attenborough. Is there such a thing as a bear which isn't very big? Bears usually seen outside in the woods, but what if these bears thought that they were birds and then found that they can't fly? Brilliant idea, David Attenborough. Thank you for name drop that so everyone gets the impression. Cool. Yeah, so they'll fall from the sky. This is my job.
Yeah. So anyway, back to actual, stuff.
Questions?
Yeah. We have audience questions that do relate to FPV stuff and are totally not about us going on tangents about murderous animals. Did you?
You brought up the STI. I nearly said
STI,
which is an audio thing in production. That's where my mind is at, Jess.
Okay.
I'm thinking about cables. You're thinking about.
Well, you should learn to
something else.
compartmentalize, Matt. Okay, you put it to the side, and then you come back to focus. Us, like the people with ADHD who are always thinking of a million things at the same time, you get taught to be able to compartmentalize into. Otherwise, you get nothing done. But yeah, so Gundren and Nate, did you have any sponsors before being pro? And if so, how did they come about? And I would add an extra question to that on top of sponsors is, were you part of any amateur teams within DCL the game as well? So Gundren, if you want to start.
So I haven't had any sponsors before I was picked by XBlades, but I was in a minor team before because I was participating in the Velocitron Racing League. First there I was in Team Canada for 2 races, I think, or for 2 VRL seasons. And in DCL I was in Alpha Prop Racing before I joined XBlades. Yeah, but I haven't had any sponsors before I joined XBlades.
Okay. And so now that you're on XBlades,
makes that a lot easier.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jess, you go ahead.
Basically what you were saying.
Cool.
And
being part of XBlades makes it suddenly gets you a lot more attention, I guess, Gundren. That kind of speaks for itself.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's always good to be associated with a team like that. But I think all the teams are great to be associated with and give you some clout, if you can call it that.
Yeah. Yeah, saying you're part of DCL gets you into all the best drone racing parties, definitely.
For sure.
And you're part of the family forever now. So
yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Lucky you.
Nate?
Yep. So I believe I became sponsored by Fuxier before I got drafted, I believe. Just don't quite remember that. It was in the same year, last year. I just really love their products. I was using their flight controllers and ESCs and cameras, and really loved them. Everybody loved them, and I was just like thinking for myself, why is no one using them? Like in the IRL Racing League, no one was using their products. Everybody was using different parts, not so known brands. And I was like, it's an awesome product, awesome brand. Why won't I try to contact Fuxier and see if we could do something? Maybe get like discounts for like everybody else. So basically, I sent them a message, and we spoke, kind of similar to the way I got drafted, basically. Yeah. And I was able to get a sponsorship. Yeah. And now more people fly Fuxier parts than last year.
There you go. So if you want your product to be in front of lots of people, then Nate is clearly the poster boy that you need to put it in front of.
And I mean, we can also, test to Fuxier. We've worked with them. They've been a partner with DCL on a few projects now. So great sponsor to have because they do really, really great stuff. So kudos to you, Nate, for managing to get them on board.
And the other question you asked, when I back in the COVID days, I got interested, I was big time into Twitch. I was looking at a bunch of streams, random things, and I came up like this one guy was streaming DCL the game. I was surprised that no one did back then. He had like his own team, Astronaut Drone Racing League. My bad, I'm mixing things up now. The ADR, Astronaut Drone. What is the name? It's a confusing name, to be honest. Astronaut Drone Racing Team. So
I have a suspicion someone in chat will tell you. Don't worry. I think there's be someone around from Astronaut.
There's FPV Gilbert wrote ADR. So astronaut drone racing, I guess.
Yeah.
There it is.
So yeah, I basically just chatted in this chat. I was like looking for a team back then because I saw the team event and you couldn't go into it if you don't have a team. So he just sent me a invite for the team, and I joined. And yeah, and ever since then, I just like was so invested into that team, even though it's just like an amateur team. We like had our own not scrims, but we were trying to do like strategies to get the first places. At first, we were on the podium, like the top 3 team for like a long time, but then like stuff started drafting, like slowing down a bit. But now we have big plans for the team because I'm still like in their Discord active all the time. So we have big plans coming. If everybody wants to join the team, there we have a big event coming.
Oh.
And so do you think being part of this team, before obviously you went pro, helped you to get to the level that you are today?
Oh, yeah.
Is this something you'd recommend people to do, essentially join a team, even if it's not, the best team out there, just join the team for the sake of being in a team?
Yeah, so in that team, there were 2 main people that I really liked. There was a guy who used to fly in QD FPV, and this guy was insane. He flew in the Swiss, in the McDonald's team. And so back then, I was just chasing his ghost all the time, and I've just improved and improved. And that was so much fun. So yeah, I think like getting your own, not rival, but some guy you want to beat definitely pushes you to the limit.
That's cool.
I'm glad people are enjoying the show so much. We love getting the chance to chat with our pilots and sort of bring the community together. So thanks everybody who's come in and watched this for a bit. It's been a little while since we've done a What the Quad, but this one's it's not. No, this isn't us saying bye, but this has been a lot of fun. And Gundren and Nate and everybody in the community, it's you who makes all this happen. It's such a pleasure. It's and like when we go real life racing, that stress with real life racing next year. Virtual racing is going to be part of it as well. That's what we mean by a hybrid season. We concentrate a lot on emphasizing we're going back to real life racing. It's just been COVID that meant that we couldn't, and that was all that was stopping us was COVID. It takes so long to get a real life race together. Months and months in advance, 6 months, 9 months in advance, discussing it with locations. Then locations got nervous because of COVID that maybe in so many months' time, it wasn't going to be possible. That's what's been holding us back. But real life racing next year. But virtual racing as well. That's what I mean by hybrid season. So sim races, people who love playing on DCL again but don't feel like they're real life ready yet. Like, we welcome everybody, as Jess mentioned earlier on as well. Casual flyers, people who just want to try something different, whether you like racing games, whether you've never played anything like this, whether you like flight simulators or whatever. You can play DCL the game, Steam, PlayStation and Xbox on, super easy beginner mode, keyboard and mouse, gamepad, whatever. You don't have to have a real drone controller, but if you do, you can wrap it in cotton wool, or you can put your rose gold stuff on it as well, and you can fly that too, like our pros do. And I mean, that's the most important thing, obviously. And like we love drone racing in all of its forms. Next year there'll be real life, and we'll still be doing the virtual racing too. Will DCL continue to use the same 7-inch quad, or will they push for like a 5-inch quad, etc. in future? Zeesh, good question. Not sure we can talk about that.
The only thing I can say is the quad that's currently being used within DCL the game as kind of the go-to, unless you take the mini or the big drone, is the DCL 19 quad, which was designed for the 2019 season.
Yeah.
Obviously, because COVID, etc., there was never exactly. 2019 was our last in real life season, so we kind of kept this 19 quad. And for 2023, there are currently works being made on possible new quads. That said, because I know nothing about technology or like drone related stuff, even if someone had told me, and I don't think they have, if it's going to be 7-inch or 5-inch or whatever, I probably wouldn't fully understand. No, I do know what it means, but like, yeah, it's not something I would have registered. But what I can say is there is a new model being worked on. The exact details I honestly know nothing about, and so even if I did, I wouldn't tell you, but I genuinely don't know anything about. So you guys will find out next year.
I think that answered everything. Just that was really detailed and informative, and that was a brilliant way of saying I can't tell you.
Yeah, but I genuinely don't know.
No, I know. Well, but actually, what I think we can say is it's in development, and that's not a cop-out answer.
Yeah, no, but it 100% is.
We don't have the finished quad design, which is good, because if we said now, oh yeah, it's done and we know what we're flying next year, months and months in advance, I feel like we could do a little bit more work between now and then. And Shane Adams is in the chat, and he's bigger than me, and he says to say nothing, and he's involved, so I'm slightly scared.
Shane Adams is in the chat. Did I miss this?
Yep.
Well, there he
Shane
is.
Adams, who I was axe throwing with Shane Adams last night, don't you know?
What?
And,
I didn't know this.
Sorry.
I just got a bunch of
Christmas
selfies.
Party last year that he didn't invite me to either.
We didn't have a Christmas party last year.
You had a party without me, Jess.
There was no Christmas party last year.
There was a thing. And I found out about it on a previous episode of What the Quad. People will be on my side, they'll know.
Literally
yeah.
not.
Anyway, Shane Adams, who's good with an axe too and can make it stick in a board. Yeah,
that does not surprise me.
Okay, so if he says I can't talk about it, we can't talk about it. But if you happened to be in, Gilbert in the chat saying that was yes, Gilbert, you remember, yes, Star, my boys, the pilots, they've got it. They remember that I wasn't invited to something. Why am I still reminding people of that? It makes me look bad. If you were out in Zurich a couple of months ago, at the start of the Swiss Drone League season, DCL was there. I was there with Alex Vanover and a couple of other guys as well, doing the world's first AI versus drone racing pilots event that was happening at the University of Zurich. Not a DCL thing. But absolutely fantastic. I was commentating on it there, and they had AI flying drones and races. Point of all this is, if you were there, DCL had a stand, and we were showing the DCL 19 quad in actually there. And we also did do a little bit of exhibition flying of something we're working on for next year, but there's plenty of time for it to develop. But it's already flying extremely well. So yeah, that's yeah, it's cool. I see people asking, Kite and others, I think it was you, Kite, wasn't it? Yeah, how can you get your hands on a DCL 19 quad so you can start practicing? So what we used to have when we used to do real life racing, and if you're new to DCL and you've only seen the virtual seasons, 2017, 2018, and 2019, we were a real life racing series. That's always been our roots. We go to real places. We've told you, the Champs-Élysées in Paris, the Great Wall of China, these locations that you can race in game, and many more, we flew on in real life. Our pilots all flew to that, all of our teams came to it, and we did weekend flying as well. So we would do a whole drone Grand Prix on the Saturday, and then Sunday we would do it again, but standing in its own right. So the results of Saturday were banked, and that was points, and then we did it all again on Sunday. And we did things like the Saturday qualifying was done the night before. Then we tried things in another season we did that the results of Saturday's racing became the grid for Sunday's Drone Grand Prix, because it was a knockout series. So like first in qualifying raced 8th and stuff like that in a knockout series. We also used to use DCL the game. In 2019, our qualifying of a real world location for a real world race was actually done in game. We gave the pilots the track in game before we released it to the public. They learnt the real track in game. We actually did qualifying in game, so their in-game times were how we ranked the teams. And then we went to the real location and we did it for real based on their in-game qualifying. So it's always been realistic that we can use it for those purposes. Some of the pilots grinded the track in game to learn it really, really well. Other pilots felt like if they learnt it too well in game, they'd have to unlearn it to fly it in real life. That's just how they approached it. But in terms of the quads they flew it on, there's a lot of flexibility. We always had a minimum and maximum weight. We always had a certain dimension. The canopy, the actual body of the quad, if you're not familiar, the actual, like the DCLs that you see in the middle of the screen right here. The canopies were all team branded, but there were certain dimensions that they had to allow for cameras. You had to have certain equipment on board, like you had to allow for a camera that obviously works with the FPV, the goggles that the pilots wear, but also so we can live stream them because all of this is live. They also all used to have a HD camera on board as well, so we could record the footage in better quality for putting out on TV. We used to make a TV magazine program shown in 100 countries around the world and all this sort of thing. You can see some of these real life races on YouTube, by the way, on a YouTube channel. But my point I'm making is the actual DCL 19 quad doesn't kind of exist because people varied it. The teams were allowed to change it a bit within parameters, certain minimum and maximum weight, as I said. There wasn't one quad that everybody flew. What we're trying to do for next year, I don't feel like we can go much further on that, but I'm glad you asked. And as someone said, actually, yeah, if you want to get an idea of what it was like to fly a DCL quad in 19, I think you can find our specs, size, weight, components, and so on. I think you can find all of that publicly. I don't know where off the top of my head, but I think you can find that
in the website.
You'd have to build your own. Yeah, and build your own. But obviously, that's a big thing for people to do. Yeah, I'll stop now.
Just posted the link to the website in the Twitch chat. There is a question about canopy, though. Because like you said, Matt, the exact specs the teams could adapt, but we do have that iconic yellow DCL 19 canopy. We don't, because a lot of people ask us where they can buy it. We don't sell it. That's not a thing. We only have a very limited amount of them, and they were used for promotional purposes during these races, going to different events and things like that and playing that canopy around. They're not actually supposed to be used to fully race like over long term. Some people have won a few because, like I said, we have a limited amount, but we do have a few. So if you play DCL the game or take part in our competitions on Twitch, on social media, etc., we could possibly give you one if you win. That's
I don't have one.
Decide. Depends on the day if I feel like. I don't have one either, Matt. Okay, but for what's the word, copyright reasons, because we did get asked this by someone who wanted the 3D model thingy so they could print it themselves. Yeah, because it is a DCL trademarked thing, we can't just give away the blueprints of how it looks. You can look at pictures and videos and try design it yourself if you have a 3D modeling thing and that's what you want to do. We can't stop you from doing that. But as everything copyrighted, if you start using it to make money, that's not ideal.
No, of course not.
But so this is just like a little push to follow us on social, because we do regularly do little competitions where you can like post your pet. Shout out to Coda, I think was the bunny, and there was a cute little chameleon with the same name as the chameleon in Tangled, and I was a very big fan of that chameleon.
Tangled is fantastic. What on earth was the chameleon called?
I forgot.
If only Google existed.
It's like a French. It's a French, like it's a Gaspard or something like that. Like I know it's
not Gaston.
One of those.
I can tell you, that's something else.
No, I know that, but I forgot what it's called. Pascal. Hola. Thank you, FPV Gilberts.
Jack comes to the rescue.
So Nate and Gundren just talking there about the real life flying and how people used to use the sim, and that we used to do qualifying in it because it was realistic enough. This is not in any way like a hint to what's happening next year. I really stress that. But just out of curiosity, if you had been with us in the real life season a few years ago and we'd been using the game to show the pilots the tracks before you went to them in real life, are you somebody who would prefer to learn a track on a simulator before flying it in real life, or would you rather get to grips with it in the
I think for me it would be helpful to get like the layout of the track into your mind and know which corner comes after which and what gate and stuff. But yeah, I would look that I don't do too much practice on the sim beforehand, because I think there will always be a difference between the simulator and the real life. And if the race is in real life, you don't want to get too used to the simulator, so real life becomes more difficult than it already is.
Okay. What about you,
I would
Nate?
have to agree on that. Yeah, I think I love to go on the sim, just learn the layout, see get used to the track, and then like when you go and fly the actual drone, you're less scared of crashing it or knocking into things. So yeah, I think going on the sim is definitely a smarter thing.
Yeah. And it's great that the sim is realistic enough to do that, and has these locations like Rapperswil, where we're racing this Saturday with the next stop, our virtual drone Grand Prix of Rapperswil and Lake Zurich. We're live to you on Twitch this Saturday from 10 a.m. UTC, and like Rapperswil has been part of DCL since 2018. It's where we finished our real life season in 2018, which just was fantastic event to be part of, and a huge crowd came. I remember some of the UK guys came over, not just the pilots or the racers, but other pilots came over just to watch it, because DCL has always been this thing that people wanted to see in real life as this kind of true example of, the World Championship, the international drone racing. Come and see us when we're back out in the real world in 2023. Rapperswil back again, and people will be a bit familiar with the environment perhaps because they've seen us racing there virtually, they've seen us racing there real life. You guys probably know it too, Gundren and Nate. But of course, it's new tracks, and I talk about this a lot because I just think it's such an incredible thing that you pilots do. We make new tracks and give you an impossibly small amount of time to learn them, and then you guys come and turn up and show us all how to rip them. It's incredible. So Gundren and Nate, you're both racing on Saturday, and it's Rapperswil, but you don't know where the lefts and where the rights and the ups and downs and gates are going to be. Do you ever have trouble learning a new track? Because we make you do it in a really small amount of
time. For me, usually the learning of a track is goes fairly quickly, and it's pretty easy. But there have been tracks where there is like an element which is unexpected, or you're not quite used to it, and then it can get a bit difficult. I remember the Rapperswil race at the end of 2020 when I was in the wildcard team. It was quite a big jump in difficulty of the track from the previous ones, and a lot of people were a bit thrown off by that. And then the practice can get a bit difficult if something unexpected comes. But if it's a normal track, you to learn it, and as soon as you know what corner comes after which, it's just about getting the tight lines and getting the better lines and getting faster and faster and faster.
How about you, Nate?
Gundren said anything I could have said. When you fly a lot of the sim and you get familiar with the drone, you sometimes just like forget the track. Just like goes from the computer into your mind. So basically, you feel like you know it when it's an unexpected like a siege, for example. That was a never seen before obstacle, and I believe everybody had a hard time on that. But yeah, if it's nothing too complicated, you just you learn the track pretty fast, like 15 minutes, and you know it. Just a matter of getting the fastest times and not being all stressful before the race.
Yeah.
Not crashing.
Shane Adams, who was in the chat earlier, is our track designer here at DCL. He won't want to tell you anything about the tracks, but Shane, if there is anything you want to pop in the chat, just as a little teaser or a little
Shane is like one of the best people.
Pilots.
Shane is like a pro at no spoilers.
I'm not expecting spoilers. I'm expecting more of a kind of ha 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 to wait till you fly decks is probably one thing.
Oh, because even I don't know what the
track
tracks.
By the way.
Yeah.
He's an excellent track
Shout out
designer.
to Shane Adams
awesome.
for the track design and the entire dev team for what they do for DCL the game for these live events, because there's a lot of work there.
Big shout
I
out.
have questions for Nate. You are team captain for this race, correct?
Yes,
I think it's the second time as well that you're team captain.
Yeah.
So how do you feel like you've got it now, that you're like the right person to be captain, at least with the people who are currently racing, that you can like bring it and be the right motivator and everything for your team?
Yeah, I feel like it's better for all like Shane and Minjay and Kryson to just like be all 100% focused on the race itself. So and also my native language is English, and theirs is like all different: Korean, French, and German. So for me, it's easier to just like to mumble things. So yeah, I think it's something that I could do better. Unlike last time where kind of was interrupted. So for those who don't,
I was stunned at the start of this season, Nate, when you were making your debut for the team, for Supersonic X in DCL, and you were team captain. That was in your first race of Supersonic X, wasn't it? In fact, your first race in DCL at all.
I believe I raced last year as well, though. In LAX.
Oh no, sorry. Okay, yeah. I mean, yes. I mean, so you're in Supersonic X, and not only have you been picked to transfer to that team, but you get to be team captain of it as well. I think when I say I was astonished, what I mean is what a lot of pressure on somebody. Representing the team, starting the season, and being the captain of it, having only just joined the team too. You handled all of that really well. I think I said that at the time. You handled that brilliantly.
I tried my best. It was a bit stressful, like racing. Not being used to it, it was like a first race of the season, so like I was completely out of it. But yeah, I was able to answer some of the questions. It's really funny. I think it's one of the best moments. A lot of people in chat would agree, I believe. Me ghosting you.
Well, Matt, the new generation, they're coming here, and you're just,
Yeah, I know.
Sorry,
thing is, I got upset earlier on when Nate said that he was flying DCL because of somebody else, some pilot shadow something who was a bit good at it, because I thought Nate only flies DCL because he used to follow me on Twitch and we talked a lot on my channel, and I thought he joined DCL for me.
No, that was the reason I started playing what was it called? Hitman 3. That's the one.
Okay, yeah. Okay. I used to play a lot of Hitman 3 on my Twitch channel, and badly, or as many people would describe it, entertainingly. At least I hope so. Yeah, I just thought you were in DCL so you could spend more time with me, Nate, to be honest with you.
But that's obvious.
Actually, for racing.
I don't need to tell you to know that. That's obvious. I mean, everybody would.
Oh, good times. I haven't streamed on Twitch for too long on my own channel, but it's coming back soon. There's been reasons, but it's coming back soon. So hang tight.
What do you mean you have a life aside Twitch streaming? Honestly,
no, that's yeah. I mean, no.
These people with lives, honestly.
Is that even a thing?
N'importe quoi.
No, I don't know what you mean.
Never heard of it.
No. I just wish I was streaming and practice David Attenborough impressions. That's literally all I do when I'm not doing DCL. Shows, right?
Gundren, there's a question. This one's about Smash FPV in particular, but there's also been one about you. So have you had the chance to practice with Smash FPV? Obviously, you both being in XBlades. How's he doing? And someone asked something similar about, I believe, FPV joined XBlades in the most recent draft selection as well. So how are the two newbies doing? Are they settling in well?
Oh yeah, definitely. We had some sessions already together, everyone, also the trials and stuff. And yeah, they are doing awesome. They are they are already really fast, and they definitely are showing that they have potential and getting faster. Yeah, I think they definitely also have a chance to fly in a race one day. It may be like with me that it takes a while, but it may also be that it's in a short time. We don't know, but I have a lot of hope for these two guys. They seem very decent pilots and very cool people.
Yeah, I think
sorry. I'm just imagining the idea that we talk about. Yeah, I have a lot of hope for these two guys. And now Killian has just started watching, and Drobot has just started watching, going, "Wait, what? They think like he's got a lot of hope for us."
I guess it's always difficult when you have teams where you have, talent like Dark X, who's just like in a league of his own. Top, I think he has the most fastest laps this season. Right, there are 6 total amount of fastest laps. He has 3 of them.
Yes.
Yayu has 2. Yeah. So 2 XBlades pilots have pretty much all of it. And Leviathan has another. But yeah, when you have, obviously you have the top pilots, but then there are 13 of you in the team who are all like really good pilots. So yeah, it is still, I guess it must be stimulating though, because they're the greats, but they're the newer ones like you, like Smash, who've kind of been progressively working their way up, and it can't be easy being in a team with that many superstars that you're really not sure if you're ever gonna get picked. And like Matt said to you earlier, credit to you for not immediately going with what, these people are all better than me, they keep winning, I keep not being able to make it, I'm never gonna fly, I will stop trying. But you kept pushing, and this is where you're at now. So that's the mind really there. That mindset is what'll help win, and you guys exactly. are on your way to winning more. So
exactly. I think there were times where I wasn't that far from giving up, because I was just a bit frustrated from doing so many trials, trying so many times, and just not getting there. And especially because often it was just like that I end up in 5th place at the trials, and I knew it wasn't a lot that was missing, but it was there. So yeah, it was definitely sometimes a bit difficult, but with a bit of perseverance, it worked out. And I think, yeah, like I said, it has also its advantages, because you learn a lot if you fly with people like Darkex or Yayu or Minchan or Drobot, all these amazing pilots. You definitely pick up a lot from them, and they push you a lot to improve yourself. So overall, it's great.
I've never actually been quite clear. It's been knowledge for a long time, Gundren, how XBlades pick their pilots for the teams. Picking the 4 pilots who are going to race at a DCL event through doing internal trials. And I know other teams do that, but XBlades were doing it way before anybody else, and years ago. But what exactly do they do? Do they race you off against each other, or do they say, right, we're going to race Siege or whatever track in game, and we want to see who's got the fastest time? And how does this actually work? Unless you can't tell us, and it's a team thing, in which case, fair enough.
So we already had different formats, but usually it's like either we already had where we had to smash just leaderboard smash a track and just try to get as fast a time in a certain time. Or we also had that we had a few races that we did and recorded the placements and looked what the overall scores were for like 5-6 races or something. So it's a bit different, but most often it's just like a mini race off between all us pilots, where the scores get recorded, and then in the end it gets we find out who was the fastest and the most consistent. And obviously there is also a bit of other considerations that our managers have to do for the flying lineup, but the trials itself is probably the biggest and most important part about who gets to fly and who doesn't.
Yeah, but there's a little bit more to it as well. No, it's really interesting. Thank you, Gundren. Kite's got a question for you both. Good one, Kite. Do you ever watch replays of other pilots to see where they take their lines? I'm not sure if Kite means during an event or how, but take that question how you wish. Well, how about this? So if you're in race day, are you watching what other pilots do and learning from that? I know, Gundren, a bit more difficult for you because you've not had the live event yet, but do you watch other pilots flying? Do you study their lines in game for different tracks and things just to learn? Or during practice, Kite says. Do you study other pilots on other teams and their actual lines and their actual flying?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's also always helpful to see if someone figured something out that you haven't thought of yet. But for me, I always try to not put too much time into that and just improve my own flying. But sometimes it's really helpful to get an idea of where a better line could be or something. Yeah.
It's happened a couple of times that literally during an event, during a live streamed virtual drone Grand Prix, and real life ones, but mostly virtual ones, like the racing has evolved during the event because somebody has found a gap that no one else has gone for. At the moment somebody does that gap and nails it the first time, then everybody else is like, oh, I have to do that now. And yeah, Nate, do you learn a lot from pilots on SuperSonics or other teams?
During practice, yeah, sometimes I look at Shane's times because he's insane. Have you seen? He finds shortcuts where they weren't even invented.
Yes.
But during the race, I prefer to not do that so much because I want to use it's really time limited. Like we're not given a lot of time to learn the 2 tracks or 3 tracks. So I try to use all the time into learning the track. And once I feel that I'm pretty much learned the track, I would just go look the fastest times or someone that's competitive with me, and see what I can improve and what I can and what not. But yeah, try not to do it as much.
Yeah. I love that we have this ability in game to be able to see, what pilots have done and how they've flown. And there's some ideas that I've been discussing with production about how we might be able to bring more of that to our live streams as well. So keep your eyes peeled and we'll be able to explore how brilliant our pilots are in future. Shane Adams, our chat designer, is in chat, defining a shortcut. It's a faster line from one gate to the next gate. Yeah, okay. You can't really shortcut very much. You have to make a lot of gates and obstacles to get around.
Isn't a faster line from one gate to the other the literal definition of what a shortcut is?
I guess I would take a shortcut to mean a way of getting from A to B, which is quicker than the way you're supposed to do it. Yeah.
Faster. That's literally what it is.
Yeah. Well, if you were going somewhere in a car or on foot from A to B, and you're supposed to walk along this road and walk along this road, but if you're local, you know that there's a little shortcut around here where you can go that isn't on a map. That's a shortcut.
That goes faster.
Yes. Well, if it's slow, it's not a shortcut. I mean,
it's a long cut. It's a long cat.
Is it?
Now we're with Raiden.
A long cat.
Shane draws.
A long cat is when you do a shortcut, but you have a really good beard.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what a long cat is. Interesting.
At least we have one definition down.
Yeah, that's it.
Shane
Philosophical says
Adams,
QC. That's right. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, we're having some interesting debates. But apparently, a shortcut would mean missing a gate or skipping a gate. Most people would interpret. Well, no, because technically, a gate you have to. The way that the game is designed, if you don't go through, over, under whatever the gate, then you have to go back and do it. So you wouldn't be able to skip, would you?
You can't shortcut by missing a gate.
Well, sometimes
it's not a valid lap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
well, sometimes you You can sometimes you can get the checkpoint without taking the intended line. I think that's what Shane means.
That's more.
That you activate the checkpoint like you were going through it, but yeah, you didn't actually go through it. So that's probably what most people understand under a shortcut.
Yeah,
like not the intended route that is faster. Yeah.
I like this comment from Nightbot that after a break we're back with incredible racing on Saturday. Tune in live from 10 o'clock UTC. Great question, Nightbot. Yes, it's true. We are back with incredible racing on Saturday.
Totally forgot about the race.
One of our biggest fans, Nightbot, is always there watching the show. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
Nightbot, good to have
you
you
with
us.
Who is this Nightbot person?
They're a pilot or a pirate, obviously. And Nightbot, thanks for watching, as always. Good. Nightbot will be there on Saturday. Will you be there? Yes, you will, because we're back with live racing. And if you're not going to watch the live racing of DCL, then why are you here watching Watch the Quad? Just so I can do David Attenborough impressions and Jace can talk about the sex lives of koalas. I guess that's why you're here. But also, we do like drones and racing, and we've got more of that on Saturday. So you should probably watch that too. It'll be just as much fun, only there'll be more drones and less bears. Saturday from 10 a.m. UTC, which is a time zone that nobody uses, but it is the only one that you can really use to discuss stuff globally. 11 o'clock in the UK, 12 o'clock Central European time, and if you're east of that later, and if you're west of that earlier, because that's the way the sun goes around the world. And I've just said that the sun goes around the world.
If you're not
quite
sure,
that's how
you can
physics
check.
work.
If you're not sure, you can check our social media channels, because there is actually Matt on there telling you, depending on your time zone, what time you should watch it at. So, it's there. Or you can Google, that would probably go quicker, but also you should give us a follow on social media, because Matt often talks on there. It's interesting.
Thank you for saying it's interesting. Good.
I heard he sung the time zones, isn't it?
It's 3 a.m. in Eastern. Yeah. China 6.
We should put like 7. A beat on it, and then Matt, you can like rap, tell all the time zones or whatever.
Yep, no problem.
We'll do that for next time.
No one would come late
because it's all about time.
Exactly. Gundren is like, because raps, they stick in your head, the full thing, and then what Gundren said, people would know when it is and they wouldn't come late unless they have a life.
True. Oh, no, Jess, did you just say having a life is more important than watching our streams? It is my life, Jess.
It's my life too. And
what else would we do?
No, but there's, especially with different time zones and stuff, it's people have works, whatever, so I know it's not easy for everyone to tune in exactly, but when we say we start at 10 a.m. you see there's lots of racing throughout the day, because there's a round robin where all the teams race each other, there's the Women's Cup, then the small final, grand final, so at some point you can tune in, and for a few hours you will have some really, really great racing. So we do advise that you watch, even if it's for a little bit, join us, check the pilots. And someone wants to hear us both sing, Matt. In what world is that a good idea?
Me too.
Kite's asked some brilliant stuff so far today, but Kite, you're mistaken. Jess is telling you to watch some of the DCL show. I'm saying you should watch all of it, because I enjoy all of it, and I will be entertaining you throughout all of it, and so will the pilot. So if you can watch all of it, watch all of it. And if you can't watch all of it for work or something like that, we will write you a note. Jess can be contacted, and we'll write you a little note saying, "Dear viewer boss, viewer cannot come to work today because they were holding a koala, and we can't really explain more than that on a family show." So don't expect them into work today. Good luck going forward, Nate and Gundren. Thanks for letting us interrogate you for 2 hours. Yes, indeed, Bambi. Absolutely right. Gundren and Nate, any messages from either of you that you want to say to all the supporters of XBlades and SuperSonic X and yourselves? Nate, why don't you go first for a change?
It would be a lot of racing. Going to be fun for everyone to watch and to race. I think it's gonna be awesome. Gonna see the rivalry of XBlades and Raiden. See that continue, and hopefully SuperSonics gonna be on the podium.
Yeah, definitely. I would say the same. Tune in on Saturday, see what happens. It's gonna be great racing. It's gonna be a lot of tough competition. A lot can happen. I think nothing is set in stone. So perfect condition for a great race.
And it's going to be Rapperswil, and beautiful location, castle location right by the lake. 2018's real life final finish there. We've had great fun with it virtually as well. But new tracks, and you will get to play them in game, of course, as well. We always release all of the tracks in game later on, a couple of weeks afterwards. So you'll see the tracks for the first time this Saturday, and our pilots will see the tracks for the first time about an hour before that. When we give them a tiny window to learn both tracks. Remember, there's 2 tracks coming, 2 brand new ones that nobody of our pilots or anybody who's watching has seen. That's a challenge we always give to our pilots. 2 new tracks to fly around Rapperswil. You'll get them in game in a little while afterwards too. Around Rapperswil, the 4th stop of the season, we have one more race as well, which is happening, I think it's Saturday the 15th of October. That's when we're going to culminate the season, when we go racing in Stavanger, which is in Norway, with our last virtual drone Grand Prix of the year and our new partners in Stavanger. But Rapperswil first. This Saturday, can Raiden pull away a little bit more on the leaderboard, or are XBlades going to maybe even tie it up with them with one more race to go? Can't wait to see what you do, Gundren. Can't wait to see where Supersonic X turn out, Nate. I know you'll be giving your team all the encouragement you can, and let's hope for a better performance and more points in the kitty for our Korean friends as well.
Definitely.
Let's go racing, Jess.
We really appreciate you taking the time to have fun and talk about God knows what subjects we've covered today. So thanks for tuning into that.
Mainly drop bears.
Drop bear. I still don't know what a drop bear is. If Melissa, you're still in the chat.
Right. Everyone go back.
Oh, is this actually what the drop bear is?
I don't. Hang on.
So okay, this is what Wikipedia says is a drop bear.
Well, if Wikipedia says so, then
it has to be right.
Well, we all learned something new. That one, and bear in mind that one's on its way to a special clinic for koalas as well. So just can't get there soon enough.
Thank you, like Kite said, thank you so much to everyone for being here. Obviously, good luck to both of you. I have to kind of cheer everyone on. I can't be partial, but I feel like I'll be cheering both of you on a little bit more, just because we had such a fun session.
Yes.
Will you be cheering for having us? Jess? I've got stuff to do. I've got to say words.
I'm always sure, like literally, I'm always in your DMs, Matt, or yours and mine. I'm never sure who's annoying who the most, but we're good.
Yeah, we're.
So yeah, like Matt said, tune into the race on Saturday, and we then after that have a really exciting season finale in a never seen before location of the Stavanger region in Norway. We hope to see you all there. Have a nice evening, day, morning, depending on what time zone you're at, and see you soon in the Twitch chat.
And we're going to play out with a little memory that we talked about earlier on in the show. Which we want to share with you again. We were talking earlier about how Rapperswil was where we finished our real life series in 2018. And we mentioned about a little incident that happened there with my good buddy Andre Krasny, who was racing at the time. Take a look. We'll show you what happened live on one of our live streams in one of our real life races at the World Championship final in 2018. So here's a clip from Rapperswil then and Stavanger, where we end up our season. You'll see a little bit more of that as well. And then 10 a.m. UTC. Come and join all of us, including these 2 fantastic pilots. And we'll go racing with the World Championship for the drone racing teams, which is the DCL at Rapperswil.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Peace out, everyone.
Thanks for having us.
It was awesome.